evening. Welcome back to Political Talk with Kdee, you guys. We are back once again, and today we're going to have a positive video. I know, right? So we're going to have a positive video because here lately we have been getting a lot of political tea, and we give you guys all this information on the last episode, and I left you with how to advocate in your community. So this episode is going to be about advocacy. So pretty much, I know that I give you guys a lot of information, but what is that information doing if you're not advocating with that? So I want to let you guys to know what community advocacy is. So community advocacy is a strategic approach to influencing outcomes and driving change on behalf of your community. It involves representing your community rights and needs to the level of government best able to respond. So whether you know it or not, right here, right now, I am advocating. Anytime that I tell you guys some political news that you haven't heard of, that is community advocacy, because you may not have heard that in your community. Now you want to communicate to your legislators. Now, so I believe, let's take it back. So whenever you advocate, you guys, the first thing that you want to do, you want to use my approach. And many other people may use this approach, but you want to do the think, plan, and do. So think, plan, do. Keep that in mind. So pretty much you got to think of what you're doing. You got to think of why am I advocating for this? And then you got to plan on how you're going to advocate for this. So like I said, there's 3 ways. You can write, call, and if you don't know me, let's just watch it, y'all. Listeners who can't see what just happened, so basically I just played a video of me calling all the time, me calling. This is just, and I was really on my break calling my legislator at that point. It's really funny because I'm always gonna call. The calling method for me it's a great way, because after I call, guess what? I'm gonna follow it with an email. So yeah, that's how I can advocate. But when you call, basically, I told you guys on the last episode that I went to Arkansas Strong training for how to advocate in your community. So one point that always sticks out to me, you guys, is communicating with your legislators. So I'm going to identify all these bolded points that they talk to us about in the training. So basically, the first one is identify yourself as a constituent. That's if you are one. Now, me personally, it's our right to talk to them about our issues that are going on in our daily lives that are impacting us by the decisions that they are making. So, I don't feel like it matters if you're a constituent or not, but yeah, make sure that you let them know that. Also, make sure that you're being specific. Oh, they gonna get on me for that one. Specific about your issue that you're trying to convey to your legislators. Make sure it's specific. It's not off or kind of making them second guess what you're saying. It has to be specific. Bottom line. Make sure that you're also being professional. If you're cursing your legislator out, they're going to block your number. The staff is already going to know what type of time you're on every time that you're calling. Most of the time, you're not going to get straight through to your legislator. If you're in Pine Bluff and if you know Senator Flowers, actually, one time I was her constituent, so I called her, and it was very shocking that she answered the phone. That was shocking, a senator answering the phone, but that's how much she is for her people. I think we've talked about her a lot, but make sure that you're being professional, because your legislator might pick up. Also, avoid form letters. So let's avoid that, you guys. Be concise and be patient. Sometimes our legislators, they are busy and they have more than one constituent other than you. So make sure that you don't feel like you're being ignored. You should feel accomplished once you've reached out and did your part, because guess what? I promise you, if you're feeling that way, 9 times out of 10, somebody else behind you is going to feel that way. So when you're advocating, what else I learned in this, and it was a good point also. So when you're advocating in your community, the biggest thing is communication to me. You cannot organize unless we mobilize public education or whatever issue that you want to get. So you need to be doing phone calls, texting, social media platforms. To me, are the best. They're all effective methods, and it keeps our community updated on legislations and volunteer opportunities. So I feel like I kind of advocate in that way also just by my podcast. So you guys can make a YouTube channel, a podcast. Also, we're talking about YouTube and podcasts. Why won't you guys hit that like and subscribe button right now? Or if you're listening, make sure that you're interacting on Anchor or Google Podcasts. I can see your interactions, you guys, if you didn't know that. So, yeah. So let's get back to what we were talking about. So advocating in your community, town hall style meetings with goals of turning out a crowd of public education supporters or whatever issues that you had personally, express support for policy goals, and one of the more legislators with hope of gaining press coverage. So sadly right now Arkansas is a bunch of theatrics. Another way, even though, like I said, that my way of advocating is calling my legislators personally, I've also heard that writing letters work. Just like Sarah sits up and she got elected into office and was writing them orders, you need to be writing her just like that. Just like she was writing them orders at that table, sitting down. You need to be just like that. Writing whatever you got to tell your legislators, because literally it is our right. Also, I need you to know your rights when you are advocating. So many companies, and I recently just had this happen to me. I'm not going to disclose where I work at, but where I work at, one of my coworkers is a legislator, and he or she basically told me that I shouldn't be speaking out on issues about DHS and DYS. I would like to say for this political podcast that I do not work for DHS or DYS. In any capacity, I do not work for them. I am not employed by them at all. So I just wanted to make that clear, just in case one of my listeners are at work with me. I don't work for DHS or DYS. I'll say that again. Thank you. Next. All right. So make sure that you know your rights. You are protected by the First Amendment. Public employees do not relinquish First Amendment rights to comment on matters of public interest by virtue of government employment. It's also, but play it smart. It is far more important to be effective than absolute. Your speech is protected, but good organizing means building consensus, not conflict. Try your best to advocate collaboratively. So, back on the subject of how I advocated. So basically, I reached out to my legislator, and so happened they're my coworker. They brung political matter at work to talk to me versus calling me on my phone or emailing me back. They brung it to me at my work environment. And my thing is, I know that you're my legislator, but that made me look at he or she in a different matter of professionalism, because why would you bring that issue to work? Politics has nothing to do with my job. So why would you address me in that way? But that's I'm not even going to address that episode, because I don't play about my job. I love where I work at. That's it. And we're going to get off my job. But basically, thank you guys for tuning in. This is an episode on how to advocate. I hope you guys learned some things. Also, I'm going to give you guys some quick tips real quick. I don't know if you guys know, but on Twitter and Instagram, a lot of updates that we really keep up with are on, you can go on Twitter and look up hashtag ARLEG. So if you put that in your hashtag and go on to Twitter, you will see a lot of updates, a lot of things that are happening in Arkansas. You can also put ARPX. Make sure that both of those are hashtags. If you look into those hashtags, most of the things that are going on in Arkansas, you will be able to find. And if you don't have time for that, like and subscribe with Political Talk with Kdee, because we're always going to have the news for you guys. All right. Talk to you guys later.